Apologies in advance for the very poor mic quality. I'm still trying to get a new mic. Please bear with me. But I feel like this was very long overdue. Even though this was supposed to be a 1,000 subscriber special, we're already almost close to 2,000, which is crazy, by the way. Thank you for that. But I think an introduction was very, very long overdue. And then we'll have a little Q&A at the end. I'm sure I'll have this divided into chapters for it to be easily accessible. So yeah, let's kind of just dive into it. But I'm Mer. Wow, if you couldn't tell by the username. But this isn't like my main thing. I kind of made this channel just for like a bunch of friends that were like, hey, it'd be really cool if you made a channel for like talking about whatever, since you like to talk a lot. And I'm like, you're so right. So that's how this was made. You can find me on a bunch of these different apps. I'm sure I'll have it like listed, but I have TikTok is my main, or was my main. I have a love-hate relationship with TikTok. There's Twitter. I'm still debating on whether or not I'm moving to Blue Skies. Tumblr. I just got a Tumblr. Yeah. And there's another YouTube channel I have, not the old one, a recent one that has basically a bunch of re-uploads and whatever else I put on there, and an Instagram, which I also don't use. So this has basically been the only consistent thing that I've been doing, but I'm not like really active on it. But yeah, I am a minor, if that wasn't obvious. I just celebrated my 17th birthday. Yay! 2 months ago. Not 2 months ago, maybe like 1 month ago. But yeah, this is this is just some kid's account where I post rants about stuff. And yeah, some of these rants are things that I think are heavy-handed or incredibly serious or somewhat serious. And then there's another section of stuff where I'm just kind of tangenting off of whatever. Obviously, I put the disclaimer on the front of all of my videos, but everything I do is unscripted. And the reason for the lack of scripting is because I've tried to do these types of videos in the past, basically like years ago, but my problem was I couldn't get the words out even though I already like wrote everything down. I stumble on my words so much, I just couldn't get a recording done. And so yeah, this is basically all of my thoughts in its spouted nonsense. And though it's very difficult to edit out all of my filter words, it's a lot easier to make consistent content this way. So yeah, everything's unscripted. Maybe I'll have like a little checklist of things to talk about at most. So yeah, there's that. And I don't know if there's anything else that I can really talk about, so let's get into the Q&A section of this video. How do you make OCs that actually stick? So I've had my characters for the longest time, and the way that I've kind of kept the same characters in that sense is I constantly redesign them. So it's really funny to look at like the progression of each character I have, but I've had these characters for a handful of years. Some of them I've accumulated within like maybe the past year or maybe the past year or two, but some of them span all the way back to like 2019, 2020, and have just remained consistent as long as I've like redesigned and remade the story. So I guess try and make a character that, you know, for whatever, and redesign that character over and over again. Because I think the funniest one that I have as an example is one of my characters, Seiya. So Seiya's gone through like 10 million redesigns, and you can clearly see that with the hair. But they used to be a stickman, and I think that's like so funny when you put the point A to point B, because crazy stuff. Anyway, I just constantly remake my characters. That's how I've kind of let them stick in that sense. So yeah. What's your favorite show? I have not been watching a lot of stuff recently. I'm so sorry. One of the things about me is it's so difficult to sit down and watch something because I have like so many things going in my mind and unless it's keeping me constantly, like, in my seat watching, I'm not finishing that. I'm not finishing it. I guess the most recent thing I watched was Dungeon Meshi. That's been on my mind recently. I love you, Dungeon Meshi. And the fan artists are so good. I'm eating so well in that fandom. Third one. What's your favorite animal? Okay, I have a lot of favorite animals, quite possibly too many, but I think at the top somewhere is probably chinchillas are there. I love chinchillas. I really wanted a chinchilla, guys. Maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, I was begging for a chinchilla. That's not gonna happen, but I really wanted one. I love most types of fish. I think fish are just like the funniest little things ever. I don't have a specific fish in mind. It's just fish are just a large dome, sphere of things that I like. I love fish. They're literally me. That's all I gotta say. What fandoms am I actively in right now? Let's see if I can list off these because I have so many. But I think at the top of that, my longest standing fandom that I've been a part of is probably Undertale. If you didn't know, I literally was talking about Undertale a copious amount in the headcanons video. I am so sorry. That's kind of just slipped out. I love Undertale. Undertale is what pushed me to draw. I think Undertale fan artists, amazing. Love you guys. I would consider myself vaguely within the circle of Vocaloid. I listen to a lot of Vocaloid music. I have way too many Miku figures. I also have a copious amount of posters in my room. Gosh, I can't think of it off of the top of my head. Dungeon Meshi's up there. That's a recent one. I watched that show from recommendation, and I loved it. It was great. Amazing. I really can't think of anything else, but there is one other fandom. And you don't have to do digging to find out what fandom I'm... It's not a problematic one. It's just that it's so embarrassing that I'm never going to talk about it ever. But if you go digging around my Tumblr, you'll probably find it. So, yeah. I do have a Toyhouse account. Trust, I will be figuring out how to make one at some point. I'm sure I'll announce it somewhere. Check my community posts sometime this next week, whatever. But I will have a Toyhouse up. I didn't know about Toyhouse. I mean, I heard about it. I just never used it. So I'll figure that out, guys. I will at some point. What motivates me to make YouTube videos? So, again, what kind of pushed me to make YouTube videos was basically I talk a lot, and I feel like I can yap about literally anything for lengthy periods of time. And I'm so sorry to my IRL friends that I've done this to, because when I start getting passionate about a topic, I will not stop talking about it. But I feel like as soon as I try to talk about it on the internet or I record myself, I'm just never able to get out the words that I want to, because scripting is such a difficult thing for me, and I have to cut literally everything multiple times to be able to do it. But basically what motivates me to do it is basically my own volition. I just kind of want to talk about things and keep consistency and show off my art. So that's what motivates me to do literally everything I do. It's art. I love showing my art. I love sharing my art. That's why. Yay! What inspired me to make my online persona? So my persona, the creature, as I've come to call it, I haven't named this thing. It just kind of exists. I look at this thing and I go, yeah, that's the creature. It's there. I was at an airport, I want to say in February, and I don't know what I was doodling, but I was doodling this little monster creature thing, and I'm like, wow, this is some great stuff. Maybe I'll use it as a persona. And I couldn't stop drawing it the entire flight, so it's just kind of been stuck, I guess, as my persona, because I've had multiple personas, but none of them really stuck out, were really memorable. And I guess I just kind of wanted a character that had some form of recognizability, kind of, and this is just kind of what stuck. And I love the creature. It's great. I don't even know what went into my brain when I was making it. But yeah, I was like, one-eyed creature. This is so amazing. That's all I really got to say on it. How do you get YouTube video ideas? So, I just kind of like, I'm always chronically online. That's all I really have to say. I am very, very chronically online. I'm not very involved discourse-wise, but I'm always just kind of a bystander to watch crazy stuff. And I always kind of like want to say something, so I never really do. And that's what these videos are for, is I just kind of like vaguely put a bunch of points down in my notes app, and then I find some time to like yap about it, and that's how I make my YouTube video ideas. So it's basically just stuff I've seen that I don't really see people talk about or I wish was talked about more, and then I put it into video form. Another Toyhouse question. I swear I'm gonna get that done. I do animate. I used to be very, very deep in animation memes. I was making them maybe like 2019. They were not good. Oh, they were so bad. You can go and check out my video on my past experiences on YouTube. I'll probably link it in the description. But yeah, I used to have a YouTube channel dedicated specifically to art and animation. I've been doing it. I haven't been doing it very often, I think, recently. And I've just kind of like slowly gotten back into it. I have been trying a lot of Ibis Paint X's animation features because I have premium and I just kind of want to work with it a little bit. And yeah, I do animate. I just don't really put it on this channel. You can probably find bits of it on my TikTok or my other YouTube channel, but I do animate. Trust, guys. Do all of your characters live in the same world universe? Yes. And that's because some of them did, I think, start out as like separate entities in different universes, but I've all just kind of like compiled them all into one universe and one canon, just so I could keep track of everything and have a bunch of characters that exist within one world. So they are all from the same universe. But yeah, they are all within whatever this is. I think I have a dedicated Tumblr to them with like animatics and stuff. But they are all within the Merverse. That's okay. So one of my friends, they're really cool, basically was like, you should call your universe the Merverse. And I'm like, you're so right. So it's just been called the Merverse ever since. Yeah, they all live in the Merverse, guys. I might do a little drawing tutorial. I'll probably just show a little time lapse here on how I draw the creature. But it basically is just the circles, the eyes, the hair, and then basically everything else. I feel like it's just really easy to start with the simple shapes and then work from there. Feelings on AI. I'm sure I'll do a video on this, very lengthy, on my full feelings, but as a whole, I have very strong feelings of hatred for generative AI. Basically any form of it, I have very large feelings of distaste for. Mostly because they're always pulling from artists, they're pulling from writers, they're pulling from a bunch of different places, leaving them uncredited, and basically stripping everything that made those pieces good. And I don't think people talk about like the literary part of generative AI and who exactly they steal from, because a lot of AI in the generative writing sense steal from both writers and fanfiction writers. They steal so much off of Archive of Our Own. And I'm just not too fond of AI as a whole. And again, I'm sure I'll do a video of that in full for a later time. Ever plan to stream art? Maybe. I don't exactly know how I'll be able to do that because there's only specific points in time where I'm able to like record because I have a crazy schedule. But I'm sure at some point I might do a little like art stream. If I can never figure that out, I literally only use my phone for making these videos. Everything's edited on my phone, everything's recorded on my phone. All of my resources are on here. So maybe if I can ever figure it out. How did you come up with your Sona mascots designs and what were the inspirations behind it? I did talk about this also, but I guess my inspirations were just a bunch of like really cool little aliens. I just knew that I wanted to make something with one eyeball, and that was the gimmick. But then I also added like the little hair tie eyeballs, I guess they've kind of evolved into just earrings, because I also have earrings, but they're also eyeballs. I don't really know. But they started out as little hair ties for the pigtails, and now they're just something else because my Sona's hair's down. I don't really think I have anything that was specifically what inspired the character. It just was a bunch of like mishmash of stuff that I already liked and then kind of put it in. I think that's everything that at least has been posted up until now. I'm sure I'll get some more later and then just edit it in, whatever. But that's just a little bit about me. Again, I am very, very happy about the channel's growth. I really wasn't expecting it because this is more like a me yapping about stuff sort of channel. Whatever I wanted to talk about and just kind of archive it here. I wasn't expecting any of this to get as crazy as it did, and I am very thankful for the many, many really sweet people I've met through here. And here's to a lot more awesome videos, hopefully. Yeah, that's all. Bye!